A typical domestic cat may seem like an ordinary household companion, yet Lucy proved to be anything but ordinary. This caramel-furred feline with captivating emerald eyes astonished everyone when she began keeping an unexpected watch over the neighborhood's puppies. When the truth behind her behavior was uncovered, the pet owners could hardly believe it. Lucy's essence embodied a maternal instinct that transcended the boundaries of what most would expect from a cat. Years earlier, the Johnson family, comprised of Sarah, Tom, and their daughter Emily, had taken Lucy into their home when she was merely a fragile kitten. The young feline had been discovered trembling with fear and cold in an abandoned cardboard box near a small grocery store. Emily, only 8 years old at the time, was immediately charmed by the shivering kitten. She implored her parents to bring the little creature home, unable to bear the thought of leaving it behind. Lucy's first weeks in her new environment were far from easy. She was timid and spent most of her time hiding beneath the bed, only daring to emerge under the cover of darkness to eat. Despite this, Emily remained persistently patient, lying for hours on the floor near the bed and softly encouraging the kitten to come out. Gradually, Lucy warmed up to her new family and began to trust them. With time, her personality blossomed into that of a highly intelligent and curious cat. She soon astonished the Johnsons by learning how to unlatch doors, flip light switches, and even bring Emily her school backpack each morning. As Lucy matured, she revealed an extraordinary capacity for compassion toward other animals. On one occasion, Emily came home with an injured bird she had found during her walk. Without hesitation, Lucy took on the role of caregiver. The devoted cat spent countless hours stationed beside the box housing the bird, vigilantly protecting it and even attempting to feed it. Thanks to Lucy's diligent care, the bird eventually recovered and regained its ability to fly. Lucy's nurturing instincts were further demonstrated during a particularly stormy night. Amid fierce rain and howling winds, a nest of baby squirrels fell into the Johnsons' yard. Braving the downpour, Lucy hurriedly retrieved each tiny squirrel one by one, carrying them to the safety of the porch. Throughout the stormy night, she kept the baby squirrels warm and protected until their mother returned at dawn, once the rain had ceased. Lucy's extraordinary actions quickly earned her a reputation in the neighborhood. The Johnsons' home became a favorite spot for visitors, eager to meet this remarkable cat. Children adored interacting with her, and Lucy seemed equally delighted by their company. She became a beloved figure in the community, a source of joy and admiration for all who knew her. One day, Sarah noticed Lucy behaving in an unusual manner. The cat began spending long hours perched by the window, gazing wistfully at the horizon. Her appetite dwindled and she appeared unusually subdued. Concerned, the Johnson family decided to take Lucy to the vet. The revelation was both surprising and heartwarming. Lucy was expecting kittens. The news sparked a whirlwind of emotions within the family. Emily was overjoyed at the thought of welcoming kittens into their home. Sarah, on the other hand, couldn't help but worry about Lucy's health and well-being. Meanwhile, Tom was already making plans to ensure the new additions would be well cared for. The following week was filled with eager preparations. Emily crafted a cozy nook for Lucy, complete with soft bedding and cushions. Tom purchased specialized food to meet the dietary needs of a pregnant cat, and Sarah maintained a close watch over Lucy to ensure everything was going smoothly. As the days passed, the Johnsons grew increasingly excited about the impending arrival of Lucy's kittens. It was clear that this extraordinary cat, whose heart knew no bounds and whose deeds had touched so many, was about to bring even more joy into their lives. Little did they know, Lucy's legacy as a remarkable feline caregiver was only just beginning. The long-awaited day of birthing finally arrived. In the secluded corner of the shed, Lucy, with an air of quiet resolve, dismissed the humans, signaling that their assistance was no longer required. The Johnson family, filled with anticipation, kept their ears attuned to the shed, occasionally catching the soothing cadence of her soft purrs. Hours passed in a haze of expectancy until Lucy eventually emerged, her steps unsteady and her demeanor marked by a graceful exhaustion. To their bewilderment, however, no kittens accompanied her. Driven by a mix of worry and curiosity, Tom carefully peered into the cozy nest Lucy had meticulously crafted for herself. What met his gaze caused his heart to sink. 3 minuscule kittens lay motionless, their tiny forms a silent testament to lives that had never truly begun. The kittens, tragically, were stillborn. Acting swiftly, the Johnsons contacted their trusted veterinarian, who arrived without delay. With a tone of quiet empathy, the vet explained that such a misfortune, while deeply sorrowful, was not uncommon, especially in young cats experiencing their first pregnancy. Despite the explanation, Lucy was inconsolable. She steadfastly refused to leave her nest, devotedly licking and attempting to warm the lifeless bodies of her kittens as though her love alone could revive them. The Johnsons, heartbroken at the sight of their beloved pet's sorrow, tried various ways to lift her spirits. They brought her favorite toys and tempting treats, yet Lucy remained indifferent, her grief too profound to be assuaged by such offerings. Days turned into a week before Lucy finally stepped away from her secluded hideaway, though she seemed to have left her vitality behind. The once spirited feline now spent hours in silent contemplation, often perched by the window, staring out into the vast emptiness as though seeking answers. Emily, desperate to see Lucy return to her playful self, made numerous attempts to engage her in games, but her efforts were met with apathy. Sarah and Tom, growing increasingly concerned, sought guidance from the vet, hoping to discover a way to help their cherished pet navigate her sorrow. Emily even began speaking to Lucy frequently, her gentle voice a quiet attempt to comfort the forlorn cat. Then, on a sweltering summer day, an unexpected event shattered the somber routine. While Emily played in the backyard, an unfamiliar sound caught her attention, a faint, peculiar noise from beyond the fence. Curious, she ventured closer and was stunned by what she saw. Lucy was approaching, carrying a tiny, whimpering black puppy delicately in her mouth. Emily froze in surprise before calling out to her parents. The Johnsons hurried outside, arriving just in time to witness Lucy gently placing the puppy on the grass. She nuzzled the small creature with tenderness, her actions mirroring those of a mother caring for her own offspring. The family stood in stunned silence, grappling with questions about where the puppy had come from and what they should do next. Tom proposed taking the puppy to an animal shelter or notifying local authorities, while Sarah hesitated. Observing Lucy's affectionate care, Sarah felt it would be heart-wrenching to separate the two. As the adults deliberated, Emily took action. She retrieved a soft blanket and a basket from the house, arranging a snug space for the little puppy. Lucy wasted no time climbing in alongside the tiny canine, curling up protectively next to it. Moved by this unexpected display of devotion, Sarah and Tom decided to let the puppy stay, at least for the time being. In the days that followed, the household buzzed with activity. Flyers were distributed around the neighborhood in hopes of locating the puppy's owner, yet no one came forward. Meanwhile, Lucy's care for the puppy was nothing short of extraordinary. She rarely left his side, warming him with her body and grooming him with unwavering affection. The Johnsons were astonished to see Lucy attempting to nurse the puppy, and even more surprising was that her milk proved suitable for him. The family vet, when consulted, expressed amazement at this rare phenomenon, remarking that while unusual, it was biologically possible. Lucy's dedication was remarkable. She nursed the puppy every couple of hours, even waking in the middle of the night to ensure he was fed. Through this incredible bond, Lucy found a renewed sense of purpose, and the Johnsons watched in awe as their once despairing cat transformed into a devoted mother, proving that love knows no boundaries, even those between species. On the morning of the third day since the unexpected arrival of their first puppy, Lucy mysteriously disappeared once again. Initially, the Johnsons paid little attention, assuming their feline companion had simply embarked on one of her usual leisurely explorations. However, when she returned, she carried yet another pup gently clutched in her jaws. This second arrival was slightly larger than the first, but bore the same sleek, dark fur. Lucy, with purposeful steps, carried the pup directly to the basket where the first one lay and immediately began tending to them both with equal tenderness. The Johnsons, now more perplexed than ever, couldn't help but wonder where Lucy was finding these puppies. Why was she bringing them home? And what was driving her peculiar behavior? Tom speculated that a dog in the vicinity might have recently given birth and, for reasons unknown, had abandoned her litter. Sarah contemplated discussing the matter with their neighbors to inquire about any recent puppy births. But before they could act on this thought, Lucy struck again. She brought home a third pup, then a fourth. By the end of the week, she had delivered 5 tiny, dark-furred puppies to the Johnson household. The once quiet home had transformed into a lively haven for these unlikely adoptees, all under Lucy's vigilant care. Despite Lucy's astonishing dedication to her newfound family, challenges arose. Her maternal instincts were unmatched, but her milk supply was insufficient to sustain all 5 puppies. Recognizing this limitation, Emily stepped in to assist. She began bottle feeding the pups a specially prepared nutrient-rich formula. It was remarkable how Lucy seemed to understand the necessity of this additional care. She would patiently sit nearby, observing as Emily fed each pup, and afterward, Lucy would meticulously lick their tiny faces, as if finishing the nurturing process herself. News of Lucy's extraordinary foster parenting quickly spread across the neighborhood. The tale of the nurturing cat and her adopted puppies captivated the community, evoking a mix of admiration and skepticism. Many neighbors praised Lucy's selflessness, hailing her as a hero. Others, however, harbored doubts. Mrs. Parker, an elderly woman who resided directly across the street, claimed she had seen Lucy prowling around late at night with what she described as a mischievous glint in her eyes. Rumors began to swirl, with Mrs. Parker suggesting that Lucy might be stealing the puppies from other dogs in need. Conversely, Mr. Rodriguez, the cheerful owner of the local bakery, became one of Lucy's most ardent supporters. He was enchanted by her story and began bringing fresh bread daily, believing such an exceptional family deserved special treats. Children from nearby homes frequently visited, eager to see the unusual family dynamic. Emily, proud of her feline's extraordinary efforts, would recount elaborate tales of each puppy's arrival, narrating as if they were her siblings. However, not everything about this newfound arrangement was idyllic. Caring for 5 puppies under a cat's supervision soon became overwhelming for the Johnsons. The cost of food and veterinary care began to escalate, and their once calm household was now a whirlwind of activity. Tensions started to rise within the family. Tom and Sarah found themselves in frequent disagreements over the next steps to take, and the strain extended beyond their home. Within the community, opinions grew increasingly divided. Some neighbors expressed concerns, suggesting that Lucy's actions might necessitate intervention from animal control. They feared she could pose a genuine risk if she were indeed taking puppies from other dogs. What began as a heartwarming tale of compassion and care was slowly evolving into a source of contention. Amid the chaos, one truth remained clear. Lucy's unwavering dedication to her peculiar brood had left an indelible mark on everyone who witnessed it, whether in awe or suspicion. From the moment Tom began noticing their back property being subjected to constant scrutiny, a sense of unease settled in. The neighbors seemed unable to contain their curiosity, often seen gossiping in clusters, their fingers pointed at the windows of his home. On one occasion, a man parked his car nearby and, with a camera in hand, captured images of their residence. Sarah, despite her affection for Lucy and the puppies, found herself reaching the brink of mental exhaustion. The unrelenting stares and whispered judgments from those around her instilled a sense of dread, making even stepping outside the house a daunting challenge. Emily, deeply troubled by the visible strain on her parents, decided she could no longer remain a passive observer. Determined to uncover the mystery surrounding Lucy's puppy-related escapades, she launched her own quiet investigation. Hours upon hours were spent by the window, her vigilant eyes following the cat's every movement, eagerly awaiting an opportunity to trail her during her next outing. Contrasting starkly with the household's growing tension, Lucy appeared blissfully unaware of the chaos surrounding her. The feline continued to devote herself entirely to nurturing the puppies, displaying a mix of motherly instincts and distinctively feline behavior. The sight of the puppies imitating Lucy's grooming habits, lifting their tiny paws in mimicry, was nothing short of mesmerizing. One evening, as the atmosphere in the Johnsons' home grew unbearably tense, an unexpected knock sounded at their door. Standing on the threshold was a law enforcement officer, flanked by several concerned neighbors. The officer, his expression unreadable, announced his intent to discuss the unusual situation involving Lucy and the puppies. With hearts racing and apprehension thick in the air, the Johnsons invited the officer inside. They braced themselves for what might follow, vowing silently to stand by Lucy and protect her unusual little family. Once inside, the officer was directed to the living room, where Lucy lay comfortably in a large basket surrounded by the 5 puppies. Even the stern officer couldn't hide his amazement at the peculiar sight. His questions came quickly. Where had the puppies come from? And how had Lucy become their caretaker? The Johnsons spared no detail, recounting how Lucy had brought the puppies home one by one, each a rescue of her own making. Breaking the silence, Emily finally stepped forward, her voice steady but filled with purpose. She described her careful observations, pointing out that Lucy often disappeared in the direction of an old, dilapidated house on the outskirts of town. Intrigued by this new lead, the officer decided it warranted immediate investigation. With Tom accompanying him, the officer set out for the mysterious house, leaving Sarah and Emily behind to care for Lucy and her furry charges. Their departure left the household momentarily quiet, though the tension in the air hinted at the unfolding of a story far from ordinary. Upon their return precisely 1 hour later, the gravity etched onto their faces revealed that something significant had unfolded. Inside an abandoned and desolate house, they stumbled upon a stray mother dog in dire condition. The poor creature had recently given birth and was too frail and gravely ill to provide adequate care for her newborn pups. Suddenly, everything began to fall into place. Lucy's unusual behavior wasn't a matter of stealing the puppies. Her maternal instinct had driven her to save them from an inevitable and tragic fate. Understanding the impossibility of moving all the puppies at once, Lucy had been ferrying them to safety one by one. The news of this extraordinary feline's bravery and her heroic mission to rescue the helpless puppies rapidly circulated throughout the town, touching the hearts of everyone who heard the tale. The Johnson family, alongside their incredible cat Lucy, found themselves at the center of the community's admiration. Opinions about the Johnsons and their peculiar pet transformed dramatically as the locals began to see them in an entirely different light. Moved by Lucy's actions, people were eager to help in any way they could. The compassionate local veterinarian stepped forward, offering to treat the ailing mother dog free of charge. Meanwhile, Lucy continued to nurture and care for the puppies, never faltering in her devotion. As the Johnsons observed Lucy, their admiration grew deeper. They were awestruck by her unwavering dedication to the vulnerable pups. It wasn't long before the story of Lucy and her courageous rescue spread far beyond their little town, capturing widespread attention online. Internet users flooded social media with praise for the cat's incredible compassion and selflessness, hailing her as a true hero. When the mother dog's health improved and she was ready to reunite with her puppies, all eyes were on Lucy to see how she would respond to this emotional moment. To everyone's amazement, Lucy displayed remarkable understanding and wisdom. She gracefully stepped back, allowing the biological mother to reclaim her role and bond with her babies. Yet, Lucy didn't entirely remove herself from the picture. She stayed close, continuing to act as a loving guardian and spending most of her time near the pups. This heartwarming story didn't just change the lives of Lucy and the rescued puppies. It had a profound impact on the entire community. Inspired by the tale, people began to show greater kindness to one another. Neighbors who once barely interacted now lent a helping hand to those in need more often. The local community pet refuge witnessed an unprecedented surge in adoptions, with a record-breaking number of cats finding forever homes. Lucy became a powerful symbol of how love and nurturing instincts can transcend species and arise in the most unexpected circumstances. Her actions were a testament to the idea that, even during the most challenging times, compassion and care can create extraordinary miracles.